Hi, welcome back to My Yoga to Go. This is another installment of our optimal recovery program. We believe that recovery is the absolute key to enhanced performance. The quicker you can recover, the more quickly you can get back to training. So what recovery is, or what makes yoga poses so helpful in the recovery department, is that they lengthen muscles. They also improve oxygenation to muscles. So I'm going to show you a really simple seated series that will help to restore your legs. If you just sit on the ground with your legs out wide, they don't have to be as wide as mine. They could be, for you, just a little bit wider than hips width. Just take them out to a level that feels doable for you, and start with your hands on the floor behind your torso. Usually what you find, especially if you've been running or lifting weights with your legs, is that the backs of your legs have gotten short and it's causing your pelvis to tilt backwards. You might feel that this is what your posture looks like right now. Backs of legs are tight, pelvis is getting dragged back. So if you can just put your hands on the floor behind, push with your hands to bring yourself more upright. Just doing that is going to start to lengthen the hamstrings and the inner thighs. Just bringing your torso toward a more vertical position, this stupidly simple thing, will help to release and open the backs of your legs and your inner thighs. Okay, now sometimes, assuming that some of you have gotten up to this height, sometimes you can bring your hands a little bit forward. And sometimes you can go a little bit farther forward. It's very important to breathe, and it's very important not to bounce. If you keep yanking on your muscles, they actually get scared, they recoil, they shorten. Don't bounce, don't force, don't hold your breath. Instead, just exhale smoothly, release into the stretch. Now release. For those who've put the hands forward, come upright. Everybody, you could take the sole of your left foot toward the inner right thigh. Then take the back of your right hand to the outside of the bent leg. You can walk your other hand behind so it's still supporting the uprightness of your spine. And if you just push with your right hand, you can start to turn and receive a lovely little stretch for the muscles of your lower back. Remember to breathe, remember not to force. Think smooth rather than herky-jerky. Now release that, turn your torso toward the straight leg, and begin to walk your hands one on either side of the straight leg. Again, this could be the limit for you. What you don't want to do is round your spine and collapse your chest. That's how most people fake their way into the stretch. Instead, you're better off keeping the spine long and not going as far forward with your hands so that you start to open up at your personal frontier. Open up the back of your leg at your personal frontier. Remember to breathe. Now release. Come back up. Take the bent leg and just stretch it out wide to the side. Let's do the other leg. Sole of your right foot comes to your inner left thigh. The back of your left hand goes to the outside of the bent leg. And the other hand is there for support on behind. Initially pushing into your right hand, just get longer, taller. Then eventually, pushing with your left hand, turn your torso toward the bent leg and even turn it into the space behind. Should feel a pretty good little stretch for the muscles of the lower back. Remember to exhale. Now release that one. Turn toward the straight leg. Put one hand on either side of the straight leg. Remember what I said before, it's better to keep your spine long and just walk the hands forward a little rather than to collapse your chest, round your back. All this does is distorts your spine. It avoids the hamstring stretch. Keep the back long. Keep breathing. If you can explore a little bit more, keeping your back long, well, then you just walk your hands farther forward. Exhale smoothly. And then release. Come back up. Open the bent leg out. So it's our initial position. Now sometimes you might find, wow, my legs they have lengthened. They can go a little bit wider out. Or, hey, I don't need to push as much with my hands in order to be upright. Give it a couple breaths in this position. And then I'll show you one more, which is a tremendous stretch for the inner thighs, and it's called the cobbler's pose. Cobblers, the way the Indian shoemakers actually sit like this all day when they're making shoes. For us, you just put the soles of your feet together. You probably feel your pelvis getting tilted backwards again, right? No problem. Put your hands on the floor behind. Use the support of your hands to lift your spine up. Notice also that my knees aren't on the ground. And I'm certainly not going to bounce them down like I learned, and you probably did too, in 3rd grade PE. Don't bounce. Don't force. Instead, keep the spine upright. Keep breathing. And I bet that if you just exhale smoothly, the legs will eventually start to release toward the ground. Note the difference. Not pushing them down, but more releasing them toward the ground. And this is a wonderful way to mobilize stiff hips. It's also a wonderful way to alleviate back pain because the tightness around the hips is what tends to compress the lower back. Good. Go back to wide-legged seated position. Feel how far you've come in already a very short amount of time. And then release. Just take a simple cross-legged position. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little routine and hope to see you on the next one.